Doctor, how much are you being paid to come into court and testify? I want to share with you how that one question, when I asked a doctor who was coming in to oppose us, destroyed his credibility. You want to know how? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. So now, this was a medical malpractice case. The defense had put on their medical expert to claim that their doctor did absolutely nothing wrong, and that even if they did, that wrongdoing did not cause or contribute to my client's injuries. So now I get up to cross-examine the doctor, and one of my questions is a simple question. Doctor, how much are you being paid to come into court to give testimony? And he says something about $3,000. Now, I file that information away, and a little while later I ask the doctor, hey, by the way, doctor, in preparation for coming into court, did you review the records that the attorney sent you? Yes, I did. And do you have those records here with you? Yes, I do. Can you give them to me so I can take a look at them? Now, one of the key reasons I want to see the records that the doctor brought with him, that the attorney sent to him to review, is I want to see if he made any notations in the margins of those records, because that can be very revealing. The doctor might have put something down there that could be favorable to us, and so now I want to see what he has. So now the doctor gives me a whole stack of papers in a manila envelope. And now, in front of the jury, I'm going through it page by page. What do I find? I find the bill that the doctor sent to the lawyer in anticipation of coming into court to testify. He pre-billed him, and the attorney prepaid him. Now, I look at this bill, I glance at it quickly, and I see that he charged him $10,000. I'm thinking, holy cow, he just told me a few moments ago he only charged $3,000. This is amazing. So now I quietly close the folder, I hand it back to the doctor, and now, rather than focusing on the notes and any notes that he had in the margins, I go back to him and I say, Doctor, you told us a moment ago that you charged your attorney $3,000 to come into court for all the time to spend reviewing the case, as well as time away from your office. Isn't that true? Yes. And that's the amount that you billed out to the attorney. Isn't that true? Yes. And in fact, you generated an invoice to the attorney, correct? Yes. And the attorney did in fact pay you. Isn't that correct? Yes. And that's all documented and written. Isn't that true? Yes. And you have that information here in your chart. Isn't that correct? Yes. All right, doctor, can I have your chart again? I take it out. I said, Doctor, this is the invoice that you sent to the attorney. Isn't that correct? Yes. Your Honor, I offer this document into evidence. And now the defense attorney is getting all worried. He's like, why am I trying to introduce the doctor's invoice and the bill into evidence? That's crazy. So he stands up and says, objection, Judge, I'd like to see that first. Now I hand it to the defense attorney. He takes one look at it and says, Judge, I object. And now he makes some cockamamie legal excuse about why he thinks this document should not be admitted into evidence. The judge, after listening to the legal argument, says, no, this document can come into evidence. And now it's marked into evidence. And now I turn to the doctor. I say, Doctor, take a look at this bill that you gave to the attorney. How much did you charge the attorney? He looks at the jury, he looks at me, he looks at the attorney, he says, $10,000. I said, Doctor, can I have that, please? I now show it to the jury all sees it, and they're all shaking their heads. I take it, I say, thank you, doctor, I have no further questions. I close the folder, give it back to the doctor, and I sit down. That's how I was able to destroy this doctor's credibility, so that now, during closing arguments, I argued to the jury that this doctor was not believable, that he was not credible. Why? Because if he could lie about this one little thing, about his bill, what else could he be lying about? You know, I understand you're watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need answers, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.